title. She walked in quietly, but they forgot who built the place. Part 1. The door they thought she didn't belong behind. The revolving doors at the front of the Meridian Grand Hotel spun quietly on their well-oiled axis, letting in the early evening light of downtown Des Moines. Outside, traffic buzzed in the humid Iowa air, and inside, the cool marbled lobby exhaled class, oversized chandeliers, polished brass, and gentle piano music floating from hidden speakers. No one noticed the woman walking in at first. There was nothing ostentatious about her, no assistant at her side, no sleek briefcase, no designer heels clacking on the floor. She moved with a quiet confidence that didn't scream for attention but commanded it the moment you bothered to look closer. Her name was Celeste R. Monroe, 48 years old, CEO of the Monroe Legacy Group, a real estate empire with holdings in 12 states and counting. Tonight, though, she wasn't here for empire matters. She needed a room, just for the night. No ribbon cuttings, no meetings. Just a warm bed, a night to reset before a board session she hadn't even planned to attend in person. But the universe had a different script in mind. Celeste walked up to the front desk, canvas duffel over one shoulder, her tailored slacks clean but understated, her dusty blue blouse crisp but simple. Her loafers made no sound on the floor. Behind the counter, a young receptionist was chewing on the end of a bright pink pen, acrylic nails tapping thoughtlessly on the keyboard. Checking in, the girl asked, eyes flicking up with a professional but detached smile. Yes, Celeste said, polite and pleasant. Reservation under Monroe. Celeste. The girl's fingers danced across the keyboard, then stopped. Her lips pressed into a thin line. I'm not seeing anything under that name. That's all right, Celeste said, still smiling. There's always a suite held open for me. The girl's eyes narrowed just slightly, her tone changing like someone rehearsing how to say no without actually saying it. Ma'am, we're actually fully booked tonight. You'd need to have a confirmed reservation to stay here. It's guests only. Celeste's smile didn't falter, but the air around her shifted. Behind the desk, mounted elegantly on the wall, was a golden plaque. It read, The Meridian Grand, a Monroe property. Her name wasn't just in the reservation system. It was on the building. I am a guest, she said quietly, but firmly. More than that, I own this hotel. The girl blinked, then blinked again. Her skeptical smile crept in like a shadow. You own the Meridian Grand? Celeste nodded. I'm going to have to call the manager, the receptionist said, leaning toward the phone with exaggerated care. Go ahead. Across the lobby, a couple paused mid-conversation. A man near the fireplace tilted his head, listening. Celeste could feel the attention turning subtle, then sharp. The way people look at someone they've decided is lying, and they think they already know who it is. Moments later, a thin man appeared from the side office. Crooked tie. Clipboard. Nervous smile. His badge read Neil Danvers, assistant manager. She claims to own the hotel, the receptionist said too loudly, tossing the words into the room like confetti. I don't claim, Celeste replied calmly. I do. Celeste Monroe. You'll find my name on every quarterly report and executive memo. I'm here for one night. You should have a suite reserved under the ownership block. Neil's eyes shifted, his mouth working to find something safe to say. Right. Just give me one moment, please. He turned and muttered into a walkie-talkie as he disappeared toward the back office. Celeste stood still. She didn't fidget. She didn't raise her voice. But she felt it. Security had quietly posted up. One guard near the elevator. One by the coffee bar. Not a threat, but a statement. Just in case. She didn't flinch. But inside her chest, the quiet fire started. This wasn't just about a room anymore. It was about something far deeper, and the people around her were about to learn that the hard way. Part 2. The quiet storm that changed everything. Celeste stepped back a half step, pulled out her phone, and dialed a number she rarely used. No press. No cameras. No theatrics. Just one call. I've been denied access to my own property, she said into the phone, her voice calm but unmistakably clear. Resolve it. Immediately. The call lasted 26 seconds. When she hung up, she tucked the phone into her pocket and leaned against the marble pillar nearby. She didn't glare. She didn't pace. She didn't demand. But the silence that followed rang louder than any tantrum ever could. Across the lobby, whispers gathered like storm clouds. A woman near the concierge desk whispered into her husband's ear. A man in golf attire shifted uncomfortably in his chair. The air was getting heavy, thick with the slow realization that something wasn't right, and they were about to find out just how wrong it really was. 5 minutes later, the elevator dinged. Out stepped two men who didn't belong to the hotel's usual pace. One in a sleek gray suit, clipboard under his arm. The other in a Monroe Group fleece, breathing hard like he jogged the last 2 blocks. Their names were Brent Holloway, Regional Vice President, and Carlos Vega, District Manager. They recognized Celeste immediately. "Ms. Monroe," Brent said quickly, approaching her like a man trying to put out a fire with his bare hands. "We are so sorry. I just got the call." Carlos nodded, his voice catching. "We're handling this now." Neil appeared behind them, folder in hand, trying to re-enter the conversation like nothing had happened. But Brent's sharp glance stopped him cold. Carlos turned to the front desk, checking his tablet. "Suite 1402 is cleared. Your driver's been rerouted for morning pickup. The usual espresso setup will be waiting." Celeste nodded slightly but said nothing. She was watching. Not for apologies, she wanted to see who changed their tone now that they knew who she was. That was always the test. Disrespect when they don't know you is ignorance. But when they do, that's something deeper. Neil stepped back. The receptionist, her name tag read Kayla Mendez, was visibly pale now, her fingers twitching against the keyboard. She'd been scrolling under the desk, likely Googling Celeste Monroe, and coming face to face with reality. Too late. Celeste stepped toward the desk, calm but unshakable. "I'll take the suite on the 14th, she said. "Same setup. Send someone to confirm it's clean." Brent nodded. "Already done. You've been checked in. 2 key cards, and an incident report will be ready in your suite. We're issuing a site-wide notification. A corporate audit is in motion. Staff will undergo full recertification." Celeste's eyes met Kayla's. "You'll speak to her," she said plainly. Brent nodded. "Yes, ma'am. HR will be present." Celeste raised one hand. "I'll speak to her too. Not now. After I've rested." With that, she took her keycards, turned, and walked slowly toward the elevator. Heads turned. Whispers followed. But no one dared stop her. The elevator doors closed. Inside the suite, the scent of lemon and eucalyptus greeted her. The espresso pods were neatly arranged. A fruit tray sat on the table. A handwritten note, rushed, yes, but real, rested beside it. She walked slowly through the room. This wasn't just a business to her. It was a piece of her story. And tonight, that story had been tested again. Not by competition, by doubt. Part 3. When the door closes, the lesson begins. At 6:30 a.m. sharp, Celeste ascended to the lobby, not as a guest, but as the CEO. Her charcoal suit was pristine, her ivory blouse crisp. Her heels echoed across the tile like a quiet drumbeat of authority. The lobby fell silent. Brent and Carlos were already waiting, folders in hand, untouched coffee beside them. Celeste gave a nod and walked into the small executive conference room just off the concierge lounge. Inside sat Neil, Kayla, and a woman from corporate HR, Marta Jennings, professional, no nonsense. Celeste remained standing. "Would someone like to explain?" she began. "What happened last night from your perspective?" Kayla looked down immediately. Neil cleared his throat but found no words. Finally, Kayla mumbled, "I didn't expect. You were the owner." Celeste raised an eyebrow. "You didn't expect someone like me to own the building?" Kayla nodded, ashamed. "Was I rude?" Celeste asked. Kayla shook her head. "Did I raise my voice?" "No." "Did I threaten anyone?" "No, ma'am." Celeste turned slightly to HR. "I don't need this to be a firing squad," she said. "But I do need accountability." Marta nodded. "Understood." Carlos added, "Kayla will be removed from front desk rotation until recertification. Neil is under administrative review." Celeste nodded, then turned back to Kayla. "How long have you worked here?" "For months." "In that time, have you ever thought about who built this hotel? Where it came from?" Kayla hesitated. "I just assumed it was a corporation." Celeste paused. "I built this brand from nothing. 17 properties, coast to coast. I built it because I was tired of being treated like I didn't belong. And now, 20 years later, I walk into a lobby with my name on the plaque, and I'm still invisible." The room was silent. Carlos spoke. "A memo will go out today. Mandatory inclusivity training. No exceptions." Celeste looked at him. "Make sure it's not just another checkbox. I don't want memorized scripts. I want understanding. I want change." Brent added, "We'll make it real." Celeste nodded, and the meeting ended. But her work wasn't. Part 4. The conversation that matters most. Later that morning, she found Kayla in the staff lounge. Alone, head down, a half-eaten muffin in front of her. Celeste didn't send anyone. She walked in herself. Kayla nearly knocked over her coffee when she saw her. Relax, Celeste said, sitting across from her. I just want to talk. They sat in silence for a moment, the fridge humming in the background. Have you ever worked somewhere you felt small? Celeste asked. Kayla blinked. Yeah, most of my life. Then help me understand how you looked at me last night and decided I didn't belong. Kayla's voice cracked. You didn't look like someone who owns hotels. Celeste smiled sadly. And what does that look like? Kayla didn't answer. That picture, Celeste said, doesn't just live in your head. It drives your choices. She leaned in. I started as a receptionist. Got mistaken for housekeeping more times than I can count. But I didn't build this company to prove anything. I built it to make room for people like you to grow. So start now. Be better. Kayla's eyes welled. I will. I promise. Celeste stood. That's all I ask. Part 5. The walk that leaves a mark. By late morning, the hotel returned to its usual rhythm. But inside the management office, the air was different. Carlos typed up the new training modules. Marta updated onboarding. Brent stood by the window, watching valet rotate cars. Celeste reviewed personnel files, tapping a pen on her folder. I'm not here to punish, she said aloud. I'm here to prevent repetition. Carlos nodded. We're adjusting our front desk interviews. Not just for skills, but for empathy. Good, Celeste said. And put me on the rotation. Brent looked up. What rotation? I'll visit other properties. Quietly. Not secretly. Just anonymously. Carlos smirked. That'll shake things up. Let them be nervous, Celeste replied. The real version of this job doesn't come with warnings. As she left the office, she passed the new front desk agent. He greeted her with a quiet, genuine respect. She nodded back. Small cracks were forming in old walls. That's how change begins. Part 6. The note that meant everything. Back in her suite, her bag was packed. Everything was in order. Except one thing. On the nightstand sat a folded note. Ms. Monroe, thank you for your grace. I'll be better. Kayla. Celeste folded it once and slipped it into her purse. Downstairs, the same doorman opened the car door. Safe travels, Ms. Monroe, he said. She smiled. You'll see me again. As the car pulled away, she didn't look back. She didn't need to. She had left behind something heavier than luggage. She'd left behind the ache of needing to explain her worth. Epilogue. For those still proving themselves. The ride to the airport was quiet. Celeste stared out the window. Her hand rested on the note from Kayla. She hadn't reread it. She didn't need to. She carried the memory. And memory, used right, was more powerful than revenge. She thought about her younger self, working night shifts in worn flats. No makeup, no glory, just belief. She'd built something no one could take from her. And yet, people still tried. So what do you do when the world refuses to see you? You don't beg. You walk like the door was always yours. And when they finally see you, make sure they never forget.